Hello my dear friends, my name is Sanne and welcome back to another beauty video. Today we're gonna have a very fun little chatty video because we're gonna discuss some thoughts on my entire eyeshadow palette collection. The thing is, my collection has been growing quite a lot recently and I also need to make some decisions on what palettes need to go. Because currently I'm at 52 palettes, which is technically 56 because I have some doubles basically, but we'll get to that. It's just too much. I can't deal with it. So I thought, why not do the same thing as I did a few years back and do a tier ranking of every single palette that I own, and then maybe together we can decide if some palettes get the chop or not. I have my trusty little laptop over here on my lap. We're gonna look at all the palettes that I have. We have 52 palettes here. And I made 5 different ranking tiers. I'm gonna start at the bottom, which is the only solution is to declutter. We need to get rid of it. It's not worth anything in my collection anymore. It needs to go. I don't think there's gonna be like many things in here because I'm a very indecisive person and I don't like to get rid of things, but also I really love to declutter and make everything nicer, so I'm always in between. So there might not be a lot in this category, but we're gonna have to make some choices, I think. Then we have I'm Not Mad, Just Disappointed. These are just palettes that do not live up to my expectations and that are very close to maybe being chopped or just aren't as good as I want them to be, but they're not necessarily immediately leaving my collection. Then I have No Thoughts, Brain Empty. There's no opinion. There's a few palettes in here that I haven't even tried yet, so palettes like that, or just palettes that I just really have no thoughts on. That they're not bad, they're not good, they're just there, they exist. Then I have You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. These are like nearly great palettes. They're really good. I like them. I love working with them, but they're not amazing, you know? And then I have I Would Save These in a Fire. So my absolutely tried and true favorite palettes ever currently at the moment that I just love using, and basically palettes that I grab every single time I need to do my makeup. We'll discuss why I rank which palette in each category. But those are the 5 categories. I have 52 palettes to go through, which is quite a lot more than the last time I did this video. So we better get started. These aren't really in a particular order. I just downloaded all the pictures and then the thing put it in a specific order. So we're just gonna go through. The first one that we have here is the Australis AJ Clementine palette, which I got in a giveaway by Jazz Loves Makeup. I have not tried this palette yet. I don't think I've even swatched it or really looked at it because it's very small. I also haven't had any time to try it out yet. So this is just quickly gonna go in No Thoughts, Brain Empty. Oh my god, it's so slow. Why is it so slow? Which also these kinds of palettes make for a good declutter option, because I haven't tried them yet, and if in a few weeks or months I feel like I don't want to try them, they're still unused, so I can easily give them to someone else. But for now they're in no opinion. Another one, we have Mist Witch by Shall We Makeup, which looks like the absolutely most beautiful palette ever. I've been eyeing this ever since they announced it, and I've been wanting to try it, and they sent it to me in PR and I got it last week, but I haven't had any time to try it out yet. So it is gonna go in No Thoughts, Brain Empty, just because I haven't been able to try it. But just looking at how everything's swatched and how everything's looking, I'm absolutely gonna love this. This is such a good color story. I love the cool tones. They're so me. Yeah, I'm just really excited about this palette. So I bet in like 2 weeks it's gonna go a few tiers up, but for now it's gonna go in no opinion. Then I guess we're gonna skirt through all the Shall We Makeup palettes that I have, which is also the reason why I have doubles, because of each of these palettes that I'm gonna talk about, I also have a mini version. So I'm not gonna rank them separately, but I might just also get rid of the mini versions at one point. They're really cute and I love that they're magnetic and whatever, but I just don't need doubles, you know? First we have the Liana palette, which is actually what I'm wearing right now. And this is the first time that I used it. And so far, it's a good palette. I like it. So it's gonna go You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. Haven't had much experience with it, but also I have a personal thought just specifically on eyeshadow quads. I'm not the biggest fan of quads and quints and whatever, because there's just not enough shades in a palette for me to really feel inspired. Like, when I look at it, I can only do like 2 or 3 different looks with the palette, or I have to grab in different shades and different different palettes and single shadows with it to really make it work. So that's just a personal thing that I have. Like, for me, palettes need to be at least a 9 pen for me to really get some creativity out of them. So I don't know why I have so many quads in my collection. But yeah, I do think besides that point that personally I just don't really love quads. This is a really beautiful palette. These shades are beautiful. They were so easy to work with. The sparkles are insane. So they are absolutely stunning. So I'm gonna put them in You Were Good. Then next one is Dream Escape by Shall We Makeup, which is the only one of those quads that I haven't tried yet. So I'm gonna put it in No Thoughts Brain Empty, just because I haven't tried it yet. Then we have Deathless Spirit, which is also just gonna go in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. Shall We Makeup just has a beautiful, beautiful formula. The shimmers are always extremely sparky. They are very flaky and sometimes a bit dry, so if that's not your type of shimmer, keep an eye on that, you know. But for me, I love it. They're beautiful, they're sparkly, and I love to work with them. And these quads are just stunning. And I'm sad that I haven't been able to try Dream Escape yet, but it's just, I've had so many new palettes come in over the past few months in so little time that I just haven't been able to get to any of it, basically. So next we have the Circus palette, and it's also gonna go in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. I should have picked shorter I wanted to be funny, give the tiers funny titles, but these titles are too long. Anyway, it's a good palette. I like it. It just has beautiful shades. Then I have the Makeup Revolution Nightmare Before Christmas Jack palette, which is a weird double palette. I've discussed this one. I think this is one of the few ones that I also discussed in my previous video, which was like 3 years ago. My collection has rotated quite a bit since then, but I did talk about this one back then. My opinion has changed quite a bit. In the beginning, I liked this palette quite a lot, but also I've tried so many different formulas now that I love way, way more, that this one has just gotten lower and lower in rank. Also, the color story is just weird. I don't think I've used this palette in the past 2 years. The only reason that I own it still is because of collectability. I am such a huge Nightmare Before Christmas fan, and I just want to have a lot of stuff. So I'm not gonna get rid of this one, probably ever, just because I want to have like the little Nightmare Before Christmas makeup collection. But makeup quality wise, I don't like it anymore. And I think the quality has definitely gone backwards in all of those years that I haven't used it, you know? So it's gonna go in I'm not mad, just disappointed. It's not a good formula. I have gotten rid of all of my Makeup Revolution palettes because of the formulas. They're just not for me, which is fine. But I'm just keeping this one for the collectability of it. Then I have a Morphe palette, which is the only Morphe palette that I have left. And this is the 9V Vintage Rose palette, which I got from a friend, which I appreciate so much. I got it for my birthday a few years back. In the beginning, I really, really loved this palette. I still do. I just don't gravitate towards it very much anymore. But that's just because I have been really like, whenever I have the time to do my makeup, I want to do something colorful. And then this palette is just a tiny bit too neutral for me, basically. I really love it. I just haven't used it in a little bit. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. So I think I'm gonna put it in... I'm in doubt if I should put it in You Were Good or in No Thoughts Brain Empty, because I'm really in between there. I think I'm gonna put it in No Thoughts Brain Empty, but not because I just don't have an opinion on it. I just haven't used it in a while. But I do like it. And I think it's a good neutral palette, especially for me, because it has more of those rosy cool tones that I really like, that pair really well with my skin tone. Then we have a Rude Cosmetics palette, which is the Attitude Academia palette. I absolutely love this every single time I use it. I just kind of forget that I have it and I don't really grab it. But when I do grab it, it's beautiful and I love it. And I think it's a great palette. So this one is definitely going in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. Just, it's good. I think I just need to grab it a bit more. But I feel like I put in all these pictures today, and while I was looking at them, I was already thinking like, I need to grab that one more, I need to grab that one more, I need to, you know? Okay, Then I have a Girl Cult quad. And this one I gravitate towards a tiny bit more, but just because this specific one, this is number 42 I believe, from the Cyberpunk collection. This one has 4 different multi-chrome shades in it, and they're beautiful, and I like to basically use them as singles, so I just use one of the multi-chromes with a look. And in that way, I really like to use it. So in that way, I'm going to put it in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. And I'm also going to do the other 2 Girl Cult palettes that I have right now, because I think I'm going to put both of them in No Thoughts Brain Empty. Those are number 40 and 41. So it's one with little pink and blue and one with green and silver-ish. And I think both of them are really pretty. I like them the time I use them, but I've only used them once since I've had them. They're just not something that I really gravitate towards. But again, that's because they're quads. And I just really I don't have a specific attachment to quads. I just find them difficult to work with because I just want to grab a palette, have a bunch of shades and just combine a few. And in this way, I feel like I am so tied down to one specific color story that I can use. So that's why I just don't vibe with quads that much. I have the Made by Mitchell Mini Mitchell Volume 1 palette, which I also received in the giveaway by Jess Loves Makeup. I haven't tried this one yet, so I can only just put it in No Thoughts Brain Empty. And I must say there are some other palettes in this list that I haven't tried yet that I would definitely prefer to try first over this one. So this one is going pretty low on the list of when I'm going to try it, but I do really want to try the Made by Mitchell formula, so I'm very interested in that. Just the color story is more of what not really working yet in my brain, but we'll make it work. Then I have 3 different e.l.f. quads, again with the quads. This one I'm gonna put in No Thoughts Brain Empty, because I think it's a very similar color story to that Morphe one, and I use it about as often as that Morphe one, and the formula just isn't that amazing for me to really grab it a lot. So I'm going to put that one in there. But then I'm going to put the other 2, the Mint to Be palette and the Hot Jalapeno palette, in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. Because these color stories are just fun. And the quality of these shades is just great. At least in the beginning. I haven't tried them in a little bit, so they might have gone off a tiny bit. For now, I love them. Especially the green one. That gold shimmer is crazy on the eyes. It's beautiful. And the mattes blend really, really well. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of that formula, but again, the quads I just cannot put a quad in my favorite palettes. Again, another quad up next. The Vain Beauty Cosmic Fusion palette. I got this in PR a little while ago. I think it's been like 2 or 3 years ago. Again, beautiful color story. I used it quite a bit. The shimmers are really pretty. But it's a quad, so I just don't gravitate towards it that much. So I'm just going to put it in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. The thing is also, like some palettes I use quite a lot, because when I do a creative makeup look, I like to just grab my biggest colorful palettes and then I can combine them and use shades from different palettes. But when I'm doing that, I just don't tend to also grab a quad, because there's just not a lot of color options in there, so I just have to specifically remember a specific shade in a specific quad to grab it and use it as a single in this look, basically. But I really just don't do that that often. So yeah, but this one, it is very beautiful and the formula is very creamy. Very nice. We finally have a palette that I'm gonna absolutely freaking save in a fire. The Odin's Eye Christmas Eve palette. I got this last year for Christmas, not like last year, like 2022. And I've used it so much. It's just beautiful. Like basically before this palette, I didn't realize how much I loved cool toned color stories. There's just so many beautiful cool tone shades in there. It's so versatile. There's so many beautiful blues, which I have been learning to love more and more ever since I got that palette. So I think it's beautiful. The shimmers, stunning. Like the shade Gorgeous, it's literally called Gorgeous. It's the most gorgeous shade that I own. It's a beautiful iridescent multichrome. Stunning. So yeah, and the formula, creamy, buttery, blends like a dream. I think there's one shade in there that I don't really enjoy, but it's only one. And again, you can tell this is a bit of a bigger palette. It has 16 shades, and this one I love. Would definitely save in a fire. Then we have the Cara Beauty Bloom Into You palette, which is a super cute little palette. I love this concept because it's basically 2 palettes. They're magnetic, so you can click them together, but you can also just grab one and just bring one. So there's basically just 2 color stories in there, a mint-y, blue-y color story and a purple-y color story. And the formula in these is stunning, beautiful, so blendable. I love them so much. The thing is just that, you know, when I use this palette, I can only do a purple color story or a blue color story. It's basically very limited. Again, like similar to the quads, but it's stunning. So I'm gonna put it in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. It's beautiful. The formula, stunning. But I just don't grab it that often because I need to be in the mood to do specifically that shade of look, you know? Then we have the Nomad Cosmetics Cartagena Magica. I haven't used it that much yet, but I feel like this is more of a spring everyday type of palette for me. It has beautiful, lovely, bright colors that I'm very excited to use throughout spring, and it's not extremely pigmented. Like, the colors tend to turn up a tiny bit less deep and bright as they look in the pan to me, which now I know that I don't mind. Like, this palette is not perfect for my uber creative looks, but it is perfect for everyday use, and it just has a little bit more color, and I think it's beautiful. But I haven't used it that much yet, so I'm gonna use it more in the spring. But I'm excited about that, so I'm gonna put this also in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. Then we have another quick one, the Beauty Bay Midnight 9-pan palette. I have not tried this one. I know that when I try it, I'm gonna love it because I love the Beauty Bay formula. The shimmers, they're stunning. They look stunning when I swatch them. And this color story is just absolutely me. Purple and blue are my favorite colors. Some of them. I have a lot of favorite colors, but it doesn't matter. Purple is definitely one of them. I know I am gonna love this palette when I use it, hopefully sometime soon. So next up we have the Beauty Bay Bright Matte palette. Another Beauty Bay palette. This one I would save in the fire. Not every single shade in this palette has the best formula, but for all my creative looks, this is the first palette that I grab every single time I want to do something creative and colorful. Because there's just so many shade options, the formula is beautiful, it blends great, and it combines really well with some of my other palettes. So it's just nice to have so many mattes in so many different shades, and I love it. And I use, like, this one absolutely carried my Halloween makeup collection look. Like the 31 days of Halloween that I did this year. This one carried it. I don't think I can do my creative makeup without this one. Then we have some, then we're getting more like declutter territory right now, just for a little bit, because I'm not sure about these ones anymore. Okay, so I have 4 different Fab Factory palettes and we can go over all 4 right now. The thing is that you can get these at Action, and I got them first. I first got the Sun Vibes new palette because it was a dupe for a Huda Beauty palette. And back then I was interested in Huda Beauty, but I didn't have the money for it. And now, currently, I'm not interested in Huda Beauty anymore because it's just not my makeup style. So the thing is, I'm also not that interested in these palettes anymore because they're dupes for Huda Beauty palettes. Let's go over them. I'm gonna start with the Sun Vibes Nudes palette, which is here at the back, because that's the first one I bought. I used this quite a bit when I just got it in the first year. This was like my go-to neutral palette. The formula is really good. Those palettes are like €5. They have really great pigmentation and the shimmers are very, very sparkly. I love it. In itself, a great palette. Have I used these palettes, any of these 4 from Fab Factory, in the past year? No. So, let's go over it. Should I keep them? I don't know. I think I'm just gonna be crazy. I'm gonna put this one in declutter. Because the thing is also, I definitely had like the hoarding issue of like these 4 together are like a little collection, so I can't separate them. But I did get rid of the smaller Fab Factory palettes already, so at least I did that. So it's only these 4 left, but I have 4 of these neutral palettes, and you all know I just don't really wear neutrals. Not even like on days where I'm able to do makeup in the morning for work, I'm not gonna wear neutrals. It's barely ever. Okay, then we have the Sparkling Bliss palette. I'm just gonna be crazy and put it in declutter too. I will look at it, of course, again after this video, but I think I just need to declutter it because I just don't grab them. And then I also need to declutter the this one, which is the Seductive Dream palette. Also because this one has the really weird, that one weird shade that's also on Huda Beauty palettes. The jelly shade that had the little balls of pigment in it. It's awful. So I think I just need to get rid of these. I think they're just taking up space in my collection at this point. The final one though, I think I might keep for a tiny bit. Because I searched land and sky and wherever, ocean. I scoured the earth to find this one. Because they said it on the website and it wasn't in stores until like 6 months later. And this one is a dupe for the Huda Beauty the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. And I've wanted that one just because it has beautiful pink shades and then a beautiful blue little addition. So I think I might just hang on to this one a tiny bit more because I do love the color story of this one, and then I just have to see how much I actually use it. Next we have a Hot Topic palette actually, which is the Hot Topic Nightmare Before Christmas palette. Holiday edition, I think. My friend got me this one, and I'm just gonna put it in No Thoughts Brain Empty because I haven't been able to use it yet, so there's literally no opinion on it. But even if I don't like it, I'm gonna keep it forever because it's Nightmare Before Christmas, obviously. Then we have the Glamlight Dirty Martini palette, which I'm a bit in doubt on where I should put this because I also got this in the giveaway from Just Loves Makeup. She sent me so many things. It's wild. But this palette, I have used it, but only once. And I only used 3 shades. So I feel like I really can't have a thought on it yet. The formula that I used in there, it was good. It was really nice. It looked very nice. The rest of the color story looks beautiful and definitely up my alley. I'm a big green fan in makeup. And I just feel like I can't really make an opinion on it yet because I just have not tried most of these shades. So I think I'm going to put it in No Thoughts Brain Empty. Then another No Thoughts Brain Empty is the Beauty Bay Earthy palette 9 pan. Also because I have not been able to use it yet. Just have no thoughts on it. So then we have 4 Max Amore palettes, and this is basically the same issue that I have as the Fab Factory palettes. And I need to think on these quite a bit if I need to keep them or not. Because the thing is I have 4. These also have a sort of collectability in my brain because the palettes look and feel beautiful. They feel such high quality. Again, they're very affordable. You can get these at Action. And I have 4 of them and I keep buying them because they look beautiful. But I haven't used them in a while because most of these are mainly neutral palettes. One of them that I do use semi-regularly is the this one, which is the Floral Romance palette, because it is more cool toned. It has beautiful cool toned neutrals and cool toned purples as well. So I think I'm gonna put this one in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great. I just need to use it more often. I feel like this could be a really great palette for my day-to-day work, but just need to gravitate towards it more often. Then I have the Peony palette, which is the most recent edition, but I got this basically like right before summer break. Then I went on a very long trip over the summer, so I didn't use any makeup. Since then I just haven't thought about this palette. So I'm gonna put this in No Thoughts Brain Empty. The colors are beautiful, there's some beautiful greens in there, but I just have not had the opportunity to really play with it. Then I have the Bloom palette, which honestly don't have much of a recollection of how it looks on the inside and if it's colors that I use a lot. So I'm gonna put it in I'm Not Mad, Just Disappointed, I think. It's not about the formula. The formula is great most of the time. The shimmers in these palettes are a bit less. Now I'm gonna put these in No Thoughts Brain Empty because I just don't really have I don't even remember what it looks like. And then the final one is the Wildflowers one, and I'm definitely gonna put this in I'm Not Mad, Just Disappointed, because in general it's a pretty palette, but basically the only reason that I bought this is because of the beautiful periwinkle-ish light blue shades that are in here, and those absolutely suck. They're awful. The formula, no, it's not good. So I'm gonna put it in there. And I'm actually really close to putting it just on the declutter pile because I just haven't used this palette at all. I might put it on declutter because literally the only reason I won't want to use it is because of those shades, and those shades don't work. I think I need to put it there. I think that's where it belongs. Then next we have the Flower Nose Moonlight Mermaid Moonlight Land palette, which is a 5 It has 5 colors. I'm gonna quickly put these in You Were Good and Waiting on You to Be Great. It's a good palette. The Flower Noise formula is stunning, but again, it's not enough shades for me, but it's just stunning. Then next we have the Colourpop Nightmare Before Christmas palette. It's gonna go in that same category because I love it. It's great. I just had to use it a bit more. But I'm a big fan of the Colourpop formula actually. Then next up we have the Essence Wanna Be My Honey palette, and I think this year is gonna be the year that I really have to say goodbye to this palette. Because I've had it for a few years. I bought it because I freaking love bees. So anything that's like bee related, I like to have it. And I've used it quite a bit in the beginning because they're great yellow shades, but there's 2 highlighters in there that I never ever use. Then there's 6 shades and I only use maybe 2 of them if I use this palette, but I don't think I've used it in over a year. It's bulky, it's big, I don't use it. I really think it's time to let it go. I think I'm gonna be risky and I'm gonna add a row. Okay, I've added a tier called Close to Perfect because there's just palettes that are just close to perfect. Like, I wouldn't necessarily save them in a fire. They're not like my all-time absolute favorites because I feel like there should only be like a top 3 or top 5, you know? But they are really, really good. So I'm gonna revise it a tiny bit and I'm gonna put the Attitude Academia palette over there because I have so much more love for it than other palettes in this collection that I have going on over here. So anyway, because I know there's some palettes coming up that are just great and I love very much, but they're not as, they're just slightly better than the ones I have here. You know, there needs to be a divide. Next up we have the Glaminatrix You Beauty palette. I'm gonna be kind of controversial now. I'm gonna put it in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great, but it's only because of my personal issue that I haven't been able to use it that much yet. I've only used it once or twice to kind of get a feel of the formula and the shades, but I just know that this formula is gonna stick to me and I'm gonna love it, and I'm gonna be so sad that Glaminatrix is on the other side of the world and I have to pay so much shipping to get it here. So I just know this is gonna grow in tears in the next few months, but for the time that I've used it, I loved it, so I'm gonna put it in there. Then next we have the Root Cosmetics City of Dreamy Lights palette, and this palette I would absolutely, definitely save in a fire. This is my absolutely most perfect, most favorite palette. I love it so much. I love pastels. The pastels in these are so high quality. I have pan in a few shades. It's going great. I just love this palette so much. This one is coming with me if I need to run. The next up we have the Cara Beauty Lovely Rendezvous palette, which I'm gonna personally put in No Thoughts Brain Empty because I haven't been able to use it that much, but also it's a neutral palette, which, you know, I don't gravitate towards that much, so I don't know when I will use it. Like, I have used some shades for like little looks in the meantime, so if I do need like neutral shadows, this is basically the palette that I would grab. Yeah, just I don't know. So I don't know. There's No Thoughts, Brain Empty. Putting it over there. The next step, I will also do the other one in that similar collection, the Cara Beauty Petite Getaway. And I'm gonna put this in, I'm not mad, just disappointed. But I might declutter it later as well. Because, again, it's a neutral palette, but this one is so light. There's barely any pigment in it. It's basically beige. I will never use this, basically. I think I grabbed it once so I could use the beige shades, just because I needed it to blend it into my skin. I think I might just get rid of this at some point in the near future, just because I know someone else will probably love it more than me. That's probably what's gonna happen. Then next up we have the Colourpop The Child palette, and this one is easily going in Close to Perfect. This is one of those palettes that I just need to grab more. The formula is perfect. The color story is perfect for me. I love it so much and I've used it quite a bit. But recently I just haven't grabbed it that much. And also just the packaging. Everything about this palette is basically perfect. It's just apparently not a color story that I gravitate towards as much as all the other shades that I have in my... I would save these in a fire. Would I save it in a fire? I don't know. But I love this one. So I'm gonna put it in this new tier that I just created. Then I have the Flower Nose Cherry Girl palette, and I'm going to put this in You Were Good, I'm Waiting on You to Be Great, because it's just a bit too small, compact of a color story for me. But when I do use it, I love it so much. The formulas in this are great. The shimmers are beautiful. The packaging feels so luxurious and fun and everything. So I just really, really love this palette. I just don't grab it that often because it's such a simple color story. But to me, this is the perfect color story for like a day-to-day look. So I need to grab it more often, I think. Because I know if I do, I will love it even more. So I'm going to put it in there. Then we have the Colourpop Sailor Moon palette, and it's gonna go in that same category, just because I love the color story. There's beautiful shades in there. Just don't grab it that much. I think it's a bit light. It's more of like an everyday type of palette. And the thing is, we're in the winter time. We're having, you know, seasonal dips. In the morning, I find it very difficult to get out of bed and really get up early so I can do my makeup. It's difficult, so I don't really do everyday makeup anymore. The only makeup that I do is in the evening, my creative looks that I want to do for my Instagram and my YouTube channel. When I get to that point, these are not the palettes that I would use for that, basically. So in that, like, in the way that I usually use most of my makeup, these palettes just don't fit that. But I know that for everyday kind of looks that I do use them for in different seasons that is not currently happening, I will grab them more often, and I absolutely love them. So that's why it's going in there. The next up, I have the Kara Beauty Serendipity palette, and this one is going in Close to Perfect. I've had this one since spring, and maybe this is like, besides the palettes that I mostly use during my 31 days of Halloween, this might be one of my most used palettes throughout the year, because it's got range. It looks like a mainly pink palette, but it's got range. There's some browns in there, there's some more red tone pinks, there's more cool tone pinks, there's purples, there's blacks and silvers and greys. There is some light, some dark. There's something for everyone. There's like bright pink or like really soft pastel pink. It's got great range. And this one I used quite a bit for like when I want to go out with friends, but I want a bit more simpler look. So I can still get all the pigment and the color and the fun experience. But just, I don't know. I just gravitated towards this one quite a bit this year. Packaging is also beautiful. The formula is great. And then I'm gonna add another palette to that little bar over there. So I'm gonna add the Mandalorian palette again, because the Colourpop formula is just great to me. I love it. And this one is also just one beautiful, cool toned color story. Anytime I want to do a more cool toned look, I grab this palette. And I've been gravitating towards cool tones more and more over the past year. It's just beautiful. There's a bit of yellow in there. See, this yellow already replaces that yellow in that Wanna Be My Honey palette that I'm getting rid of. I just love it. It's a great formula. And next up we have the, I don't even know what it's called, Catrice Into the Jungle or something? The Catrice Stay in the Jungle palette, which is a Jungle Book palette, like from Disney, you know. And I got this for my birthday from my friends. I've only used this like once, slightly, just for a bit of an everyday look. I have absolutely not a single thought on this palette yet, because I just haven't been able to use it quite a bit. So I'm just gonna put it in. The only thought that I have about it is it has like a coconut scent to it. So I basically get a headache every single time I open it, because the scent is so strong. But besides that, I think the color story looks very fun. There's some bright colors in there. I just haven't been able to try it out yet. So we have only 2 palettes left. They're both Colourpop. And the first one is the Fade Into You palette, and this one easily would be saved in the fire. This is like literally those 4 palettes that I have in that category right now. Every single time I want to do a creative look, I just grab those 4, put them out in front of me, and I go to work. Because usually with most of my creative looks, and this one, the Colourpop one, it has a beautiful formula. I love that it has the bright yellow. I will never get rid of this one just because it is the only palette in my collection that has that bright yellow that I absolutely love. It has beautiful pastels in there. You know I love pastels. I don't know, I think it's just a beautiful palette and I love it very, very much. So I will never get rid of this one. Basically until it breaks. And then the final palette that I need to talk about is the Colourpop Sweet as Can Be palette, which is a Winnie the Pooh palette. And I'm gonna put this in Close to Perfect, because this is actually like the entirety of spring and summer. This is the only palette that I grabbed just for quick everyday type of makeup looks, because it has some beautiful cool tone pinks, it has some yellow, it has some neutrals, it has beautiful green shades in there. Like, for the fact this is only a 10 pan palette, it has range and all my favorite type of neutral shades. So like for me an everyday neutral kind of look would either be pink or greenish with a tiny bit of brown and then yellow. And this one has everything of that. And the packaging is beautiful. There's Winnie the Pooh on it. You know I'm a big Winnie the Pooh fan. This is more of like my perfect neutral everyday kind of palette. But this one is mainly warm toned. So this is why you can see there's other cool toned ones in that close to perfect category. And I think we can see a trend here. Like I like bigger palettes that have a lot of options. I apparently love colorful palettes because those are all at the top. And then the only ones that are close to that are the neutral-ish palettes that I would use for more everyday type of looks. And then we get basically only quads and quins. My god, this is awful. The entirety of You Were Good and Waiting on You to Be Great is amazing formulas, but then just quads. And it just shows that I love the formula, but I just don't like the smaller color stories. And then there's just some palettes in there that I just need to use more to get to know more before I can make a more pointed opinion. And we have an entire range of basically just palettes that I haven't tried yet. And then we have some shades, some palettes that I just really need to get rid of apparently, because when I look at this, those don't bring me joy. The top ones bring me so much joy. So I think this really makes a great overview for me to see like what I need to declutter and what I need to keep. I think I need to do like a big spring cleaning sometime soon. I think I want to try some of the palettes a tiny bit more, but this is definitely a great start for my spring cleaning. So yeah, I'm also really excited to do that at some point. I love cleaning out stuff and getting rid of things. And then I should definitely go through all my lip glosses and everything to see what is still good. I just really wanted to go over this just because my collection has been growing so much. Not just my eyeshadow collection, but everything. And I'm kind of losing track of everything that I have. So I really like to just create a bit of overview with this. Now I know which palettes I still need to try, which scares me. Because the entirety of No Thoughts Brain Empty is basically just palettes that I need to try out that I haven't tried out at all. It's a lot. I think this is a good division. So yeah, that's it. That's my entire eyeshadow palette collection gathered for you together in a tier list. Let me know if you have any thoughts on these palettes. Do you agree with my tier list or not? Are there like any palettes that I really have a totally different opinion on than you? I would love to know. Let's have a little chat in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. If you want to see even more from me, you can also follow me on Instagram where I share makeup looks like this. And that's gonna be it for me today. I want to thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Toodles!